Hey everybody, this is the Esoteric Cross. I make videos about how to gain your personal power while learning ancient secrets, and if that sounds like something that you're into, please hit the like button and subscribe, and gain insight from this perspective in the cosmos. We will be discussing numerology in this video as it pertains to tarot. Numerology is fascinating, as it is something that is used pretty heavily within the occult. The idea is that each number has a significant meaning. When working with numerology, we generally reduce numbers that are double digits or larger. For example, if you want to know more about the frequency of your birthday, you can take the date that you were born and reduce it down. If your birthday is on the 23rd, then you would add 2 and 3 and you would be reducing the number to 5, which is a single digit. 5 would be the frequency of your birthday. To find your life path number, you would take all of the numbers within your birthday and reduce them down. So if your birthday was February 23rd, 1990, then you would add the numbers together like this. 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 0 is 26. 2 plus 6 is 8. So your life path number would be 8. This is just an example of how reducing numbers might work within numerology. Each letter also contains a numerical value, and you can find the number frequency of a name by doing this same process. This is something that could be used to name things, find the right place to live, or to start a business, or it can even be used to create sigils, and it can aid you within your magical workings. This can also be used to aid you with your tarot readings and up-level your knowledge of tarot, which is what today's video is centered on. So let's talk about how this works with tarot. With the cards, we have the major arcana, the minor arcana, and within the minor arcana, we have the court cards. Each card in tarot has a number associated with it besides the court cards. The major arcana is numbered from 0 to 21, and the minor arcana is divided into 4 suits, each labeled from ace to 10. Any of the cards that are double digits within the major arcana can be reduced back to a single digit, and it is there where you can find a special relationship between a few cards. This is a really exciting thing to explore, so let's get into it. Starting with 0, there's only one card that is associated here, and this is the Fool. 0 is the absence of numbers, and this represents the void. Anything can come from this space, and the Fool is representing the absence of knowledge. It is here that we set out on our journey of seeking wisdom. There is a sense of presence to this card and objectivity to the number 0. It is representing nothing, or no thing, and yet everything at the same time. This is a very interesting concept, especially when you get into the topic of qabalah and observe the sphere labeled Da'ath on the Tree of Life, and also the veil called Ayin, which means no thing. The Fool card will be associated with Da'ath on the Tree of Life, and I think learning the cards hand in hand with the Tree of Life is an extremely powerful way of understanding tarot. I do have a course on studying the two together, and that's linked below if you're interested. Moving on to the number 1, we of course have the Magician, which is labeled number 1. We can also associate all of the aces in the minor arcana here. We also have the Wheel of Fortune here because this is labeled 10, and since that is a double digit, we reduce that back down to 1. We have the Sun card here as well. This is labeled number 19, which adds to 10, and this is reduced back down to 1. This is the number that shows us the new beginnings of something, and it represents the raw energy of the beginning. The Magician shows us the beginning of the path within magic, but it can also represent the skill in the mastery of magic. The skill in the mastery over the mental aspects of consciousness. This is not just the beginning, but it is also showing us the completion of something. We can definitely see this as we examine the Wheel of Fortune card and also all of the 10s in the minor arcana, since they will be reduced back down to 1. The Wheel of Fortune obviously shows up as a wheel, and the circle represents cycles, repetition, rebirth, and the eternal nature of spirit or consciousness. The Sun will also represent a rebirth. The sun is always rising again each day with powerful vitality. This is the life-giving properties that are always there, ready to move forward in growth at any second. Let's take a look at the numerology of the cards that reduce to 2. The most obvious is the High Priestess, which is labeled with 2, and of course all of the 2s in the minor arcana. There are some similarities between these cards, and I highly suggest laying them out next to each other and meditating on the similarities. The Justice card can also be reduced to the number 2, but generally within numerology there's this concept of master numbers. These are commonly not reduced, and this is when the number is repeating itself. Examples of master numbers are 11, 111, 222, 333, or any number that is repeating. In this case, we will reduce it down to 2, but we can also view this as 1 repeating. We also have the Judgment card, which is labeled number 20, and of course this is reduced to 2. The High Priestess is showing us the duality, and there's the strong connection with the subconscious mind within this card. It is generally seen as the card of passivity, and it's the card of secrets. The High Priestess guards the secrets of the Kabbalistic tree of life, and guards the secrets of the universe and the secrets of consciousness. The Justice card is still a little bit reminiscent of the High Priestess because we can see these 2 pillars of the Kabbalistic tree of life here as well, except now they are both gray. There is a middle ground that has been found. Justice is the balancing of the scales, finding objectivity, and not getting attached to the situation at hand. Judgment is showing us an awakening. This is a lot of people being called into a higher state of consciousness. There's a similarity between the Judgment card and the High Priestess, and this is the emphasis on water. Water is a common symbol in the occult for the subconscious mind, emotions, and it can also represent the uninitiated. In the Judgment card, we can see people becoming initiated and coming out of lower states of consciousness. The numerology of these cards have a strong emphasis on duality, and it kind of tells a story from the High Priestess and the vision of seeing things as black and white, to Justice, finding more objectivity, we can see the shades of gray, and then to Judgment, where we can now make the best decisions using discernment and we can find our power to awaken others. The number 3 represents birth and creation. 3 is a creative number and a transformative number. It's interesting that we see the Empress as the great mother of creation. Many of the 3s in the minor arcana will represent some form of pleasure, excitement, wonder, or matters of the heart and hard work. The Hanged Man, card 12, is associated here as 1 and 2 make 3. And card 21, the World, which is the last card of the major arcana. The number 3 is showing us the 3 parts of the cycle of creation. These are generation, order, and destruction. This can be associated with Father, Son, Holy Spirit, mind, body, and soul. And I've talked quite a bit about our 3 aspects of consciousness and change, which is our thoughts, feelings, and actions. We can see the Empress embodying the birthing of something. The Hanged Man is showing the illumination that is happening through sacrifice. This can be a representation of the destructive aspect, but yet a rebirth. The World card is a higher view being gained. There is a sense of objectivity here, a completion, and a new deep understanding of something. The things that they all have in common here are strong ties to transformation. The number 4 represents stability. It takes 4 corners to set up a strong foundation to a building. There are also 4 elements when it comes to ceremonial magic, which is the system that birthed the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. These 4 elements are the 4 aspects of our consciousness: the mental body, the emotional body, the spiritual body, and the physical body. Getting these aspects purified will set up a strong foundation for you and provide a strong sense of stability in life. The Emperor is labeled number 4, and the Death card is 13, which is reduced to 4. The Emperor has this strong foundation on which he rules his kingdom. This is sensible, stable, and grounding energy. It is responsible, and this may allude to the responsibility that comes with success. The Death card is an interesting one to be placed here because it may not be something that is obvious at face value, but death is something that is stable and certain. This is pertaining to the death that we experience in our consciousness and the endings of phases of our lives. These are great opportunities to build something that is stronger and more grounded. The 5s are more difficult cards when it comes to the minor arcana. A big part of this is because the 5s are associated with Geburah on the Kabbalistic tree of life, which highlights our challenges and our ability and drive to overcome them. The Hierophant is labeled number 5, and then Temperance is card 14, which is reduced to 5. 5 can show us messages of the 5 senses: practicality, grounding, getting in touch with these senses. There can be an aspect of addiction here as these senses draw us into things that cause pleasure. The Hierophant will represent the spiritual wisdom, but may have more of a traditional approach to this. It can highlight some of the dogmatic aspects of religion. There's a focus on material aspects. With Temperance, we can see a very strong transformative experience happening. There's balance here. Temperance can refer to the ability to balance when it comes to addictive tendencies. This can also represent us overcoming our obstacles and finding expansion and freedom through strength. The number 6 can be associated with macrocosmic energies, and it can be associated with the sun and the light of consciousness. Another common meaning of the number 6 is the search for stability after the more difficult energies of the fives. The Lover's card is labeled with 6, and the Devil card is 15, which is reduced to 6. These two cards are obviously reminiscent of each other. The Lover shows us this angel, the oversoul, and the feminine and masculine aspects of consciousness, which are the internal and external, or also form and force aspects. We see the same thing within the Devil card, except these aspects are chained to a much darker oversoul. The secret is that these are really the same, but it's the way that this divine consciousness is funneled into form that makes these different. The Devil is showing us the way that we can attach to certain things and let the mind ruminations pull us into denser and lower states of consciousness. The Lovers is showing us how the light of our consciousness, aka presence and awareness, can bring us into higher and lighter states of consciousness. The number 7 is highly associated with the 7 planets to the ancients, and it is also associated with the 7 chakras and the energies of Venus. This number is strongly tied to imaginative and dreamlike energies. We have this card number 7, which is the Chariot, and also card 16, the Tower, which is reduced to the number 7. The Chariot is ruled by the zodiac sign Cancer, which is heavily associated with emotions. The Chariot is moving forward with the will, and this is where we find the motivation to move forward. The Tower is also a bit of an emotional energy, but it's more on the fire side. This is what we have imagined to be the truth being taken down. 8s are representing strength, and this can show us moving out of illusion. Card 8 is also called Strength, and we also have card 17, the Star, which is reduced to 8. The star has 8 points, and there are also 8 stars. The number 8 is also the infinity sign, showing us the cycles and infinite nature of consciousness. We can see this infinity sign above the woman's head in the Strength card, representing the infinite nature of consciousness that we always have access to. She is able to calmly close the mouth of her psychological self. The angry reactions and the heated aspects of self are kept in check by the awareness. The star is showing the mother of creation who nurtures what she is growing with the calm waters of the universe. All of the 9s in the minor arcana appear to show people who are alone, in solitude, or even perhaps highlighting a sense of loneliness. This is very interesting when we tie these to card 9 in the major arcana, the Hermit. Card 18, the Moon, is associated here as the number 18 is reduced to 9. The Hermit is the energy of solitude, reflecting on the journey and using what we've learned to light the way forward. 9s will represent the completion of a cycle or the point where the cycle is almost complete. The moon is reflecting the light of the sun and does not show us the entire story. There's still more to learn and there's a lot more to work through. The moon can represent illusions, deception, and dishonesty. We use our intuition to guide us out of the darkness and back into light. By the time we get back to the 10s in the minor arcana, we are reducing them back to 1, showing us the beginning of a new journey. I really hope that this was eye-opening in some way and can help you with meditating on these cards and asking yourself how you can relate certain cards to each other. This can help you with tarot readings or just help you with gaining more knowledge of yourself. Make sure to check out the link in the description below to see what courses I offer, and if you want to work one-on-one with me, I do offer coaching. There are links in the description to this as well as to where you can book a tarot reading with me. I also have the links to my Patreon if you're interested in some live streams. And I hope there was something new that you were able to take away from this video. If so, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.